When the doctors told me that my husband's life depended on a kidney transplant, I didn't hesitate for a second. I was terrified, yes, but the fear of losing him was far greater than the fear of surgery. I remember sitting in that cold hospital room, holding his hand, whispering that everything would be all right. "We're in this together," I told him. I believed that with every piece of my soul. I wanted to save him, not just because he was my husband, but because he was my partner, the father of my children, and the man I had built my life around. The surgery was brutal on me. Recovery was longer than I expected. I couldn't walk without pain for weeks, and there were nights when I cried silently so he wouldn't hear me. But through it all, I clung to one thought, that I had given him a second chance at life. And surely, that meant we would grow even stronger together. Surely, he would look at me and see not just his wife, but the woman who had literally given him a part of herself to keep him alive. But life doesn't always reward sacrifice the way you imagine. A few months after his health began to improve, I noticed subtle changes. He wasn't as affectionate anymore. He avoided eye contact. His phone became a permanent extension of his hand, and when I walked into the room, he would slide it face down on the table. I asked if something was wrong, but he always brushed me off with a tired smile or an excuse about work. My gut told me there was more. The breaking point came one ordinary morning, when he left a folder on the kitchen counter. At first, I thought it was just bills or hospital paperwork, but when I opened it, my world shattered. They weren't hospital documents. They were divorce papers, with my name written in bold black ink. My hands shook so violently that I almost dropped them. I couldn't breathe. My heart pounded like a drum inside my chest, and tears blurred the words, but the message was clear. After everything, he was leaving me. I confronted him that night. My voice trembled as I asked, "Why? After everything I've given you, after I gave you my kidney, my body, my strength, why?" He didn't meet my eyes. He just sighed, almost impatiently, and muttered, "I didn't ask you to do that. And I'm in love with someone else." The room spun. The air seemed to collapse around me. The betrayal wasn't just in his words, it was in the coldness of his tone, in the way he dismissed my sacrifice as though it meant nothing. I had nearly died to save him, and now he was throwing me away like an old coat he no longer wanted. It turned out he had been seeing her long before his illness. She was younger, livelier, someone who made him feel alive again, as he so cruelly put it. Within months of our divorce, he remarried her. People whispered. Friends pitied me. Family tried to console me. But nothing could erase the humiliation of knowing that the man I had saved had chosen someone else to build his future with. For a long time, I drowned in bitterness. I replayed every moment of my sacrifice, every scar on my body, every sleepless night of pain and recovery. I asked myself if I had been a fool. If love had blinded me so completely that I had forgotten my worth. But slowly, piece by piece, I began to rebuild. I realized that my sacrifice had never been about him. It was about me, about the kind of person I am. I gave because I loved. I gave because compassion is in my nature. His betrayal was not a reflection of my weakness, but of his inability to value loyalty and sacrifice. I went back to school. I started focusing on my children, who looked at me with pride, not pity. I built a new life, one where my scars reminded me not of loss, but of strength. I learned to love myself again, to see that my worth was not tied to the man who left, but to the woman who endured. Years later, I heard that his second marriage had crumbled. He had grown bitter, angry, and lonely. And while a part of me once wished for that outcome, when I heard it, I didn't feel joy. I felt nothing, because by then, I had already moved forward. I had already healed. My story isn't about the man who betrayed me, it's about the woman who survived betrayal and rose from it stronger than ever. Sometimes life breaks you in places you never expected, but those cracks are where the light gets in. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this: never regret being kind, even when others fail to value it. In the end, your kindness will rebuild you, even when their betrayal tries to destroy you.